So, Karen, you have children in their 20s.
Indeed, I do.
Do you even attempt to give them advice about their careers?
If I were to attempt to do that, I would be kicked out of wherever I was. So
Okay,
no,
so
I don't.
so let's pretend you're not talking to your children, you're talking to my daughter. What would you tell her about forging a successful career? What advice would you give her?
Well, the first piece of advice I give everybody, including of course my children, which absolutely nobody wants to hear, is you have to work really hard
Because it's called work for a
because it's
reason.
called work, and the harder you work at the beginning, the sooner you will become experienced, and then you can start doing more interesting things. So I think you should work as hard as you possibly can at the beginning, and then you'll move up the ladder and life will get more amusing. I also tell them it's really, really bad to go to a meeting and look at your phone and not participate. And but if somebody emails you, you should respond. Another thing that seems not to be the case anymore. And always to look ahead to try to figure out what am I doing here? What is my role in this project, and how do I fit in, and how can I advance the ball faster and better? And those are some of the key things.
That all sounds right. I think you should tell everybody all those things all the time. I think the anticipation point is a really good one because I think women, particularly, at least in our experience, tend to think of work like they thought of school. I'm going to get an A and I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to get an A. And if I get an A, then I'm going to get whatever it is that I want next, when work really doesn't necessarily work that way. That the people that see the bigger picture, that can fit their work into the overall strategy, that ask the good questions, not necessarily have the best answers, but ask the good questions, are the ones that seem to get ahead faster than the people that are just heads down all the time.
I totally agree with that, but I also think you have to do the work. I
Yes.
remember once dealing with a very junior person who had a work product that was strange. And I said, "What was the thinking here?" And I was told, "Well, I was thinking outside of the box." Well, don't think outside the box till you know what the box is. This would be my advice also.
I think
Yes.
it's just about the quality of the work, right?
Yeah.
Does the work have context? Does the work, do
Right.
you know who the, who it's for and why they want it? I mean,
Exactly.
it's
And,
those
and if you
questions.
don't, then ask.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that we always found being around other people makes the work better. And I think Zoom is just not a replacement for not only understanding the culture of the place that you work, but also, having the input that really makes it better, to being able to ask that spontaneous question or to have a conversation with
And
somebody that is not planned for 2:15 on
and
Thursday.
seeing people's faces and seeing how they
Yeah,
look. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think that makes it really so much better. Then I asked a question of somebody pretty experienced who'd been the CEO of a number of big companies, what he thought was most important looking back. If he was looking for a job today, what would he be most interested in? And he said the culture of the place. And I think you can't possibly know the culture of the place unless you're physically there. So the other thing I would say is you're just never gonna I think it's really hard to be successful remotely.
That, of
It,
course, is a key lesson
depending
for,
on what your definition of success is.
but it's a key
Yeah.
lesson for those poor 2 years worth of people who started work in
Yeah.
COVID and had
Yeah.
no prior experience of one office. So yes, all of you guys, you're gonna enjoy it. Just go to the office.
Yeah, I think I think it's important. It may look different than when we went to the office. May not be 5 days a week, but I think offices, communities, and culture are important.